Hello, welcome. If you're feeling like you want to be inspired, this is the place for you. My name is Mystic Maya. I'm a Reiki master, graphic designer, author, creator. I like to call myself a creative mystic. Maybe you feel in resonance with that when you hear it in your nervous system. Creative mystic. I'm curious, let me know down below in the comments when you hear creative mystic, what part of your body is speaking to you? Notice. Just notice real quick. Let me know down in the comments where it landed in your body. Was it your chest, your heart specifically? Did you feel it in the crown chakra, the throat chakra, the base of your spine maybe? Just notice. So, we have a lot to unpack and unfold, which I love because it just reminds me of the essence of a flower. I feel like flowers, one, most beautiful thing in the world. Thank God there's flowers in the world, or else like where would we be, right? Like, can you imagine the world without flowers? I personally can't. That sounds so sad and depressing. Like, oh, no thanks. I do not sign up for a world without flowers, right? I don't, maybe I'm saying that because I'm wearing the perfect shirt for that. And also it's like one of those things where I'm like, Maya, why are you saying that? Who knows? But I trust that we're going to connect that line. A world without flowers, like, no thank you, right? We do not subscribe for that. And maybe for a second, we can kind of zoom out, because I feel like everyone's going to have their own point of view around that notion of what a world will look like with no flowers, quote unquote, right? Like, what does flowers mean to you? Flowers is fluid. Flowers can be whatever you want it to be. Maybe it's literal, maybe it's not. So just throwing spaghetti on the wall here, saying this question in a different way is like, what can't you not live without? Like, what can you not live without? Because like, certain things, wow, I'm like so tongue twisted, which I feel like maybe this revelation of knowing this truth for you can feel just a little stagnant and chaotic almost, because it is hard. It is hard to choose to be unapologetic towards your version of truth, your version of your dreams, your version of what family means to you, your version of healing, your version of XYZ. Each of us on this planet have our own view. Thankfully, there's this thing called resonance. And I believe there's resonance, synchronicities in every like topic, right? There's not just one way. There's multiple ways to do something. What matters is what is true to you. But because there's so many people on this fucking planet, thank God, right? Like, I don't know why I came out like this, like a Jewish grandmother, but, you know, like, as a kef, like, as a kef sheish malay anashim, how fun that there's so many people in this world, right? Like that's exciting, that's connection, that's heart opening, that's diversity, that's difference, that's same but different, you know, that's connection. I think I already said connection, but basically in a nutshell, the fact that we're like a multitude of people, of persons, of energies, of soul on this planet, that's exciting, but it's also terrifying. Because there's like, you know, pros and cons to everything, but let's focus on the light right now. What is my point in all of this? I feel like I was going somewhere and then it's like squirrel moment. Where did you go? You know, I'm talking about the power of the collective energy. But where I was going with it specifically, well, I forgot. So we're going to pause. We're going to trust the pause, okay? When the brain has a moment of pause, we listen. All right, so hopefully whatever came through since this moment, until that moment of a pause in my brain pause, brain pause. Take what you need, leave behind what you don't. We're going to interject to a new chapter within the dialogue. Let's see, I have my notes here. My handy dandy notes. And something that's coming up is there's a mermaid here on my journal. So maybe this message is for you specifically if you resonate with mermaid energy, siren energy, the ocean, manifesting with water and water rituals, being a water priest, water priestess, things like that. So that's just like an extra confirmation. But overall, like, I sat down this morning and I journaled and I'm like, what do I want to talk about with you? Like, what is the New Year's blessing? Like, if this video is finding you when it's just posted, fresh out of the oven, let's say it's not the New Year's and you're just stepping into a new chapter within your life, adjust everything towards what feels good to you and for you. But right now, in the live, potent moment, we have the New Year's recalibration from 2025 to 2026, which is super, super exciting, but also mundane at the same time, because it's like we put so much emphasis sometimes on New Year's. And I think coming back actually to the collective power, right, is like, what's super cool about New Year's to me is, yes, it's a holiday, if we've got to call it that, right? Where there's a multitude of people, souls, celebrating both at the same time, or at least in the same 24-hour day, but each one kind of like experiences it differently, not technically at the same time, right? Some places, yes, but some places, no, depending where you're living on this beautiful globe, directionally. But it is a holiday, an event, a moment of recalibration as a collective, as, you know, a multitude of energy where we put our intentions towards something very, very similar, which is doing a very deep dive, like self-reflection. It's very rare someone's not like thinking about the last 365 days they've had. And if not, if they don't, that's a skill. And I've got to talk to you. I'm just curious. Like, I don't know about you, but I'm always, celebrating New Year's as if it's my birthday, because it really is a moment in time to do a 365 review, and that's fucking beautiful, right? Because change is the most constant thing. So if we're not looking at our timeline and being the observer of our own reality, then what are we doing, right? Like, self-discovery is the best gift. Self-discovery. We've been given a chance to be on this planet Earth school. It really is a lesson. But we get to dabble in discovery of who we are and what we want to leave behind. And that's so beautiful. And I feel like I can go more on that, and that's a spiral in itself, but we're going to leave it at that. And my personal New Year blessing for you is something that I'm working on in my own journey, in my own flow. And it's really finding appreciation for where I currently am at. It's finding appreciation for where I'm currently am at. And I had to say that twice because it's been a very big pivotal, 10-10 as I'm saying that, pivotal lesson for me to be very present and in awe of the journey and not just the end goal. And it's quite a paradox because when you're manifesting, it's so important to believe and embody and feel. When I say embody, I mean feel. It's not just believe in your mind, but it's also feel in your body, in your breath, in your heart rhythm, that the end is already done. I don't know if you can hear my stomach, but it's hungry. So that maybe that's a confirmation here, just double confirmation, like things are moving, like yes. But embodiment, right? It's a feeling. So there goes my brain again when it just pauses. It just pauses like that. I know we were talking about having appreciation for where you're currently at. All right, segue into that exact thing, but sorry if it's a little not smooth, but I feel like that's part of the message too, is like, as we learn to appreciate where we currently are at, which is a very prime lesson, because it's like, we want to put all the energy in the future, right? Because that's what we're taught. Have your future planned out, your future. Planning for what is out of your control, technically. And it's ironic, because it's like, but I can't control the future. I can only control the present, like the present moment is what creates my future. So instead of putting so much effort on future, which don't get me wrong, that doesn't mean don't set intentions, don't have big dreams. Have big dreams. Set intentions and seeds and, believe in the end goal. That's what we were talking about, is believing in the end goal before it's actually happening, right? Embodying your dreams in the now before it actually makes tangible sense. And there's going to be like a trial and error in that embodiment practice. And that's where that stop and go energy, I feel, is even in my brain right now, of like trying to intersect and also even just connect this message, is like, in order to even understand and appreciate the present moment, you got to get lost in the future. You got to get lost in the sauce of your own fucking mind that is dwelling more in fear versus love. Sometimes we just got to go off the flow of love and get into that doubt for a second. But, the difference between fear and love from a wounded versus more conscious point of view is the conscious point of view is going to get curious with the fear. It's going to ask it questions. It's going to say, let's sit down and have a conversation, because like past this line, you're not coming with me, fear. But if you want to chat for 10 minutes, we can totally do that. You can sit on this chair outside of me and we can have this conversation, but you're not going to like steer the wheel. So it's really making fear almost this like part, this character within you. Having the vulnerability and the humility to even have a conversation with your fear. It's like, yes, this is healing. Doing the acting in some sense with yourself, with your own self, your own mirror. That's all you guys. If you can't have a conversation with yourself, how can you have a true, authentic conversation with others, right? Like truly, and I mean that from a place of true love. It's like, that's why mirror work is so important. Like a moment, you and your own like soul frequency through your eyes. The eyes is a portal to the soul, at least one of them. So that's why like when we can notice what is standing in our own way and just extract it, become curious with it, not put it on a pedestal and question it, we can start to maneuver it into where it actually deserves to be. Yes, it's a part of us, so it's not about shaming it or bypassing it and putting it under the rug. It's about naming it, spending time with it, and really asking it whatever shows up, right? It could be the fear, but it can also be something else. It can be even, when you're trying to make a choice. Do I go down this road? Do I take this job? Do I date this person? Do I do this job opportunity? You can even do this exercise with that thing, but it's like sitting down with either the emotion or the choice at hand and just noticing what it has to tell you, and even what your body is feeling, coming back to like body sensations and just knowing what a yes feels like in your body, what a no feels like in your body, what a maybe feels like in your body, and getting experimental with that, noticing the language of you, right? Which is so, so important. And that's why like finding appreciation in the journey sometimes takes time because we're always learning who we are at every season of life. Winter, spring, summer, fall, we're always evolving. Every day we're evolving. And that's why it's also so important, to drop into the now, because the now is the moment where the point of power is always created from. Are we leading from the heart? Are we leading from doubt of the past? Holding it, dragging it with us to the future? The past is the past. It's already happened. Yes, it's a part of you. Therefore, it's not something to again, you erase it and then you don't erase it, if you feel me. Again, one of those life paradoxes where it's like, what? Because you are this whole essence, but you're also a puzzle. And a puzzle has many pieces, right? So it's like your past is a piece to the puzzle, but it doesn't define who you are. It doesn't complete you, but it's just a little piece within the whole essence of you. Now, sometimes we get stuck in that little piece and we allow that piece of the past to identify who we are into every segment of the moment, which creates our future. But it's like at one point, this is where healing comes into play, and even appreciating the 365 days, coming back to the fact that we're closing a portal, right? We're opening a new portal. There's a semester is what's coming up, or a season, a quarter, let's just say season. There's a season that you spent time in incubation, in becoming mode, and now you've graduated. Now you're ready for the next level. So in that celebration, it's like looking at the timeline of your life and really having appreciation for the climb, for the discovery, for the lesson, for the miracles, for the becoming, for everything that you are, all the parts of you, right? All the puzzle pieces, the light puzzle pieces, the shadowy puzzle pieces, all of it, because it's all a part of the essence of you. And because the present moment is the creator of our future, that's why it's so, so potent to love thyself and truly love ourselves and know our value and know our gift. You are a gift to the world. Each individual in this beautiful planet is a gift. What you do with that power is up to you, but essentially we're each given the choice, the opportunity to choose love over fear. And when we choose love, we're helping not only ourselves heal and our ancestors, but the whole world is a collective. It's a whole frequency. When you choose love, when you choose self-discovery, when you choose being the best you, when you choose openness, consciousness, tapping into the healer within you, the mystic within you, the creative within you. This is all like high frequency elements of life. It's just like creates this ripple effect of high frequency in your environment. Like the self is the environment, is our environment. So the more you love yourself, you're rippling out this fucking unconditional love out into the universe, and it's fucking contagious. We might not be able to see it, but we can feel it. Some of us can see it, depending on your clairs. If you know, you know. But the thing is, vibration doesn't lie, because everything in life is vibration. Everything in life is energy. Energy doesn't lie. And it's so important to get curious with that notion. If that's something new to you, get curious with it. Take it for a spin. If this is not new, most likely, if you're here, this is not your first rodeo. You understand spirituality because you breathe it, you live it, you embody it. It's not something outside of you, it's something within you. Spirituality comes back down to that notion that everything in life is energy. There's so many ways to speak spirituality, just like there's so many ways to speak to God. There's no right or wrong way, and I'm not here to tell you what is the right or wrong way. I'm here to say, choose love over fear. Choose love over fear. Yes, choose love over fear. How you do that is up to you. How you do that is up to you. I can teach you and share with you what works for me, and maybe you'll be curious and be like, ooh, that resonates. That feels like a yes in my body. I'm going to take it for a spin. Yay. Join me always in the self-love revolution. But if it doesn't resonate, it doesn't resonate, and that's okay too. And this is where, like, finding appreciation in where you're currently at, right? Is knowing and recognizing also the lessons that you've learned. For me, one of the lessons have been figuring out what discernment means to me. What does that feel like to me, even in my body? And that's even coming back to the notion that my body will tell me if something is a yes for me and if something is a no for me, which just translates to alignment or not in alignment. And sometimes there's always going to be a maybe. It could be in the midpoint, very neutral. And that's where you just gotta fucking really just go even on the gut. And sometimes you're not even meant to know. So like a no is really a yes and a yes is really a no, if you know what I mean. Sometimes things aren't always yes or no. Sometimes it is murky. And we just got to learn to surrender in the murkiness where it can be a both and. Sometimes it's not simple as yes, no. Sometimes it's a both and, right? So just coming back to the fact that you are now in a moment of becoming. You're stepping into a new threshold where you really understand who you are on so many levels. And you're unafraid. You know, you'll be climbing the mountain still. There's still going to be like lessons, right? But the only difference is now you know who you are, truly. And in that, you find grace in every day as it comes. Knowing that you're just going to take it 24 hours by 24 hours. Yes, you're going to set intentions. You're going to have dreams. But your awareness and your consciousness is in the fact that the present creates the future. Therefore, take it 24 hours at a time. See where that takes you versus trying to future trip in 24 hours. A lot of us start the day and we're already stressed about the path we're going to take in 5 years versus just, okay, let's focus on the now and what we can control right here and now. What can we create in the here and now? Forget the 5-year plan for a second. Forget the 3-year plan for a second. Forget the 1-year plan for a second. Forget the 30-day plan for a second. What is the 24-hour plan? That's it. Creating your future based on the present. How can you be the best version of yourself in these 24 hours? How can you lead from the heart right here, right now? Notice, are you leading from love? Are you leading with fear? If you're leading with fear too, that's okay. Again, it's not about being at 100% every single day. Sometimes we're going to show up on 20 fucking percent. Shit, even 5%. But be honest about that. Accept it. It's a part of where you're at. If you're in a cycle right now where you're operating at 20%, allow it to be so. Try not to judge it. What is this being at 20% teaching you? What's the lesson here? There's always a lesson. Are we putting the point of power in the energy of what am I meant to learn from this? Or why is this happening to me? Because both can be true, but both truths have two different frequencies. One is a frequency of love, and one is a frequency of fear. So, what's coming through is really to encourage this New Year's, this new portal that you're stepping into, to be a checkpoint of truth. Notice who you are right here, right now. Notice who you've been, not as something that defines you, but is a part of your forgiveness evolution, is a part of your self-discovery evolution, is a part of your alignment evolution, right? Our past allowed us to collect data of what works and what doesn't. So it's like, oh my God, thank you, past. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for all the victories, all the lessons. Thank you. Coming back to the present, noticing how the past truly got us to this very freaking moment. And in the great surrender of all that was, and in the great surrender of all that is, noticing who we are, what we love, what we don't love, where we want to go, how are we embodying where we want to be in the now, because the now creates our future. So we must, like, the timeline that we want is already in existence. Now we need to embody it, create enough energy, visionary energy, somatic energy, mind, body, soul energy to jump into that reality, become two magnets. So it's very important to embody who you want to become in the now. And in that, there's an unfolding, because there's also a metamorphosis, because it's like, it's not going to be easy just to embody that future self. There's going to be this unraveling, this recalibration, this curiosity, this season of who is my higher self? How does she show up? That person that I'm becoming into. Maybe take some time, write it on the page. Who are you becoming into? Who is your most abundant self? Who is the version of yourself that walks fearlessly? What life is he or she living? Tap into that. Script it on the page as if it's already here. It's already, your prayers are already answered, right? We're operating in the end result. So we're embodying the end result of our dreams in the now with devotional practices. How are you stepping up every day to become 1% better in those 24 hours? How much time are you spending on self-love? You have work, you have friends, you have family, you have fun. Okay, where's self-love in the equation? Make self-love a priority, and self-love will lead the way with you. It will co-create with you. Because when you vibrate from self-love, that's a ripple effect in the universe of like high vibration opportunities, high vibration outcomes, high vibration reality, high vibration community, right? So we're going to close this beautiful message with an affirmation card. This is Gabrielle Bernstein's The Universe Has Your Back card deck, oracle card deck. We're going to end with this. We have one that just came flying through. So it says, my faith has the power to turn trauma into healing, conflict into growth, and fear into love. You cannot make this up. This is literally everything we've been talking about for the last half an hour, which just shows that resonance is present. Resonance is present. Whoa, that sounds funny. I kind of like it. Resonance is presence. Resonance is presence. Yeah. Resonance is presence. It's kind of a tongue twister. My faith has the power to turn trauma into healing, conflict into growth, and fear into love. And that ties in with finding appreciation for your journey, for where you're at now. That journey that got you to this moment, the trauma healing, is your growth, right? Is how you're alchemizing fear into love. So continue being curious, continue choosing love over fear, continue strengthening your version of faith, continue calling back your power. Your power is not something outside of yourself, it's something within you. You have all the answers, all the tools, all the love within you. Everything outside of you is just a bonus, and oftentimes, it's just a reflection of you, but I know, to me, the truth is, it is a reflection of you. It's not oftentimes. Yourself creates your environment. And sometimes that can be a bittersweet truth, because if something is off-kindled, there is something within you that needs fine-tuning. Not everything is in your control, but if everything is reflection, so it begs a dialogue. I don't know if that makes sense, but basically it brings into question, okay, if something is stagnant, then what within me, if I am the reflection of the universe, what within me is not authentic? What isn't operating from integrity? Like, that is some deep shadow work, is noticing if your environment is not in full alignment, knowing that the reflection, there's something within you, maybe there's like a little pebble within the energetics within you that just doesn't believe it to be true or something. So it's like sitting with your subconscious mind and knowing that you hold the power in the present to unlock anything stagnant within your own energetic capacity. And that's where, like, knowing that you are the activation for change, you are the activator, you are your healer, your inner healer, you are your inner alchemist, you are your greatest problem, you are your greatest solution. And I want to go deeper on this concept on a different video, but for now I'm going to leave it here. But we are going to talk about this concept of activation and what that word even means, feels like, and we'll go deeper on that, and even how you can embody activation and curiosity and creativity as a creative mystic, which I still want to hear. How does creative mystic land in your body if you haven't shared that yet? You still have time to do that. Share below, what does creative mystic mean to you, or where does it come up in your body as a sensation when you hear creative mystic? Creative mystic. All right, this has been fun. Take what you need, leave behind what you don't. I always just throw spaghetti on the wall, take what sticks, throw away what doesn't. In the meantime, just know the love in me sees and feels the love in you, and I'll see you in the next message. Mystic Maya, over and out.